Hello there and welcome to a brand new week here on Culture Mosaic. We've concocted up quite a lineup of today for you as our edition will revolve solely around drinks and beverages. What better way is there to quench your thirst during the height of the summer here in Vietnam than to sip on a cup of Vietnamese iced coffee? And have you ever imagined how Vietnamese comfort flavors like lychees, sugarcane juice, or even cloves would taste in a cocktail? And how about the taste of persimmons infused within wine? Our little tour of exciting drinks today will happen to take us all the way from Vietnam to South Korea to test our palate on all of these creative infusions. All that and more in this beverage-inspired edition of Culture Mosaic. Do stay with us. Cold brewed coffee, a new choice for coffee lovers. Bartender Leo Smith and Vietnamese-inspired cocktails. And later on, wine concocted from persimmons in South Korea. For generations, people in the southern metropolis of Ho Chi Minh City have loved the strong flavors of the Robusta beans and have made coffee an indispensable part in their daily life. Whether you're a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donut type of person, or perhaps you gravitate towards the independent, anyone who visits Vietnam will soon discover a thriving cafe scene that they can't help but embrace, with the coffee in Ho Chi Minh City one of the strongest coffee cultures in the country. We'll start our beverage-inspired edition of Culture Mosaic this week now by joining us in discovering this interesting coffee culture of Ho Chi Minh City.
Today, people in Ho Chi Minh City drink coffee everywhere, in coffee shops, parks, or from street vendors selling coffee in small alleys all around the city. Among the traditional types of coffee, cà phê sữa đá or coffee with condensed milk is considered by many as their favorite. It's inexpensive and perfect for hot weather in summer.
Thường nếu mà em đi tụm ra thì thường ra công viên mua cà phê rồi ngồi bệt.
Mỗi buổi sáng tôi cũng uống một ly cà phê sữa đá hoặc là một ly cà phê sữa nóng.
Thông thường thì tôi uống cà phê đen. Còn đối với một số bữa như là chủ nhật thì tự thưởng như mình thì uống có chất ngọt chút xíu là cà phê sữa đá.
The most popular method of making coffee is using filter like French people. But it will be interesting to know that the French was quite surprised at how people in Ho Chi Minh City made and enjoyed coffee in the past. This is one of the oldest coffee shops here in Ho Chi Minh City. It was started in 1938, and the way they make coffee is really special for this area. A certain amount of ground coffee is put into a stock. Then the stock is soaked in boiling water in a glazed terracotta pot. Then the coffee is stirred so that its flavor is absorbed into the water. Finally, the coffee mixture is poured into different pots so that it gets the expected flavor.
Tại xưa kia mình không có nước đá, mình uống nóng thì chủ yếu người ta uống cà phê cái chấm vào cho quậy. Thì bây giờ không còn. Mà có những người ta thích á, thì ta đến nhà ta uống cà phê xong ta mua bánh cho quậy rồi ta chấm.
Located in an alley on Nơ Trang Long Street, Bình Thạnh District, Cafe Cao Minh venue for chợ Ve Chai, an antique market, a destination for antique enthusiasts in Saigon every Sunday.
Good. Chị ơi, cho tôi một cà phê sữa đá. So, we actually use these little things here to pay for the coffee. You give the person over there money, they give you this little coupon, and we exchange that for the coffee.
The cafe combined with the market has been running on and off for around 9 years now, most recently reopening in 2012. Every Sunday, from as early as 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., A few dozen antique vendors set up shop in Gao Ming's shaded garden area to hawk their wares. People in Ho Chi Minh City, young and old, are turning up to purchase old school items from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. In addition to those unique coffee shops, there's other coffee shops offering a unique modern ways of ambience and decor, besides those hidden down narrow alleyways, tucked away in forgotten colonial villas, or concealed in enigmatic old apartment buildings. All combined to create the unique coffee culture of the most dynamic city in Vietnam.
Continuing this week's journey of culture and lifestyle, we're excited to show you another facet of coffee here in the country. And that is a style of brewing coffee that is quite new to the coffee lifestyle of Vietnamese people. And I'm sure for those out there who are seeking for new experiences, this will be worth checking out.
Recently, coffee lovers in Hanoi are becoming acquainted with a new way to make coffee that doesn't use heat. It's called cold brew coffee.
You may feel curious about the term cold brew coffee, so let's follow me to one of the first coffee shops that serve cold brew coffee in Hanoi to see how interesting it is.
Cold brew coffee appeared in Hanoi about 2 years ago, when coffee brewing methods from overseas arrived in Vietnam. Similar to cold brewed tea, this kind of coffee is extracted from water at room temperature, cold water or ice. Here at Cafe Ville, the coffee brewers show us 3 common methods to make a cup of cold brew coffee. Using a water drip maker, slow drip maker, and the most difficult one, hand drip maker.
Cái này pha theo tỷ lệ mình phải lấy đúng 50g ạ. Vâng, chị múc bớt ra. Cái này là pha theo tỷ lệ ạ, nên cần đúng định lượng. Vâng.
Each method creates a different flavor of cold brew coffee. If you like strong coffee, then use the slow drip method. If you want a smoother and more pleasant taste, the water drip maker could be for you. And with the hand drip maker, you can balance these 2 options while savoring the best aroma.
Thì nó sẽ là sự cân bằng giữa cả hai loại để ở bên ngoài và để trong tủ lạnh. Vì khi mà ủ nóng thì chúng ta có hương rất là thơm, và cái đá thì nó sẽ hút cái hương này xuống, và khi mà nhỏ giọt xuống cái bình thì nó sẽ giữ cái hương ở phía dưới bình, và sau đó thì chúng ta lại bỏ vào trong tủ lạnh như bình thường, thì đó là sự kết hợp giữa cả hai. Thì đấy cũng là cái cách mà uống ngon nhất, nhưng mà nó sẽ không dễ làm.
Brewing at low temperatures reduces acid content in coffee by 2/3 compared with hot brewing. Thus, the drink's natural flavors are felt more clearly. That's why so many people fall in love with cold brewing.
Ở quán làm thì có thể lựa chọn được từ Colombia, Brazil cho tới các cái hạt từ Panama nổi tiếng với cao cấp hơn, và nó rất là nhiều các cái hương vị như là hương hoa quả, hương quả khô hoặc là hương của các loại hạt. Cái vị của cold brew thì nó cũng sẽ thay đổi theo đúng các loại hạt. Loại hạt mà có những cái hương vị đặc trưng như nào thì cold brew làm nó cũng sẽ như thế. Khi mà uống cold brew thì điều đầu tiên gần như là tất cả khách của quán đều nói với mình là không nghĩ là cà phê nó có thể ra được những cái vị lạ như thế, như là vị hoa quả, và có cả mùi hương, mùi hoa, và nó uống nhẹ như là trà.
Mình thích cold brew ở điểm là cái nhiệt độ của cà phê ấy, từ đầu đến cuối nó đều lạnh, và nó không thay đổi quá nhiều.
To satisfy the different tastes of young people who always love to try new things, some coffee shops offer mixed cold brew coffee. Coming to V Prezzo, we found two very cool styles:
Nitrogen cold brew and instant cold brew.
Nitro coffee is a new trend. It is a cold brew coffee that we put nitrogen gas and carbon dioxide into the cold brew coffee. It looks like some draft beer. We are more focusing on Vietnamese coffee in cold brew way because cold brew coffee is very good on making new variations. So same like a cafe soda, we can make a cold brew soda.
Easy to make, easy to drink, easy to mix and create unique flavors. Anything else? Try it for yourself.
Culture Mosaic is a weekly journal here on VTV International, looking to give you, our viewers, the latest scoop on the cultural scene here in Vietnam. Whether it be the diversity and richness of century-old heritage or the dynamic and exciting vibe of the modern Vietnam, we hope to bring you the many facets of the cultural and artistic soul here in the country. So don't go away as we continue our special Cultural Mosaic edition of refreshments and drinks. Pepper, cloves, pandan leaves, or bananas, as well as lychees and sugarcane juice are familiar spices and fruits to many Vietnamese people. But did you know that they can also be infused into drinks and cocktails? Well, Leo Smith, who is a bartender from England, uses local Vietnamese ingredients in order to create unique beverages. We'll join reporter Minh Hiền in the following to enjoy these flavorful combinations in this week's edition of On the Mic.
Cocktail with green tea infused tequila, raspberries, agave, lime, and bitters. Cocktail with thyme, peaches, and lemon peel. Cocktail with pears and cinnamon. And other drinks and smoothies that use local Vietnamese ingredients. These are just some of bartender Leo Smith's creations. According to the Oxford Dictionary, the word cocktail originated from the US in the 19th century. It refers to an alcoholic drink consisting of a spirit or spirits mixed with other ingredients such as fruit juice or cream. Nowadays, there are hundreds of variations of cocktails, mocktails without alcohol, and drinks that have been influenced by the local culture and ingredients of each country. Bars that serve mixed drinks and cocktails are enjoyed by adults as a way to catch up, mingle, and be social.
Hi Leo, it's a pleasure having you on our show. So you've been working as a bartender for 16 years. And can you tell us a bit about your journey? How did you become a bartender and now working and living here in Hanoi?
You know, I started out bartending in England when I first got into bartending when I was about 18. I was working in restaurants before that. I really enjoyed it and I wanted to take it a little bit further, so I either had two choices: move to London, where there's some really amazing cocktail bars, or I decided to move to America, to San Francisco, because I heard the best cocktails in the world are in San Francisco. So I moved to San Francisco when I was about 22 and worked in lots of cocktail bars there and ended up in a really exciting restaurant cocktail bar. You know, Hanoi has some amazing markets and amazing ingredients, and I wanted to bring something that I'd learned in America, my cocktail skills, bring it here, start my own bar, and pass on some of that knowledge to my Vietnamese staff, and now they're getting really creative and producing some really good cocktails, and it's a really good feeling to pass on that knowledge.
Leo Smith is from Norwich, England. He came to Vietnam nearly 2 years ago after years of traveling and learning bartending around the world. Vietnam offers many herbs, fruits, and spices, encouraging him to find and try out new ingredients, some of which he has never seen before. He loves wandering through local markets and chatting with sellers and becoming familiar with products such as pandan leaves, tropical fruits, Hù Quốc pepper, and Lao Cai cinnamon. He now co-owns a small restaurant in Hanoi.
How has Vietnamese herb and spices influenced your cocktails?
I'm a big fan of cinnamon. You know, cinnamon is quite expensive back in America, but here the cinnamon is really cheap, readily available. I find it works with almost every ingredient. It's really fun to see what it works with and what it doesn't work with. Yeah, lots of interesting spices that you might not typically use back in the West. And there's lots of spices I've never experienced before. You know, some really interesting different types of pepper that are grown here. Yeah, every week I'm discovering a new spice I've never seen or tasted before. You know, inspiration can really come from anywhere. It can come from a certain dish that I tried that has a new flavor that I've not tasted before. It can come from you know, just walking around and seeing what spices there are, seeing what kind of flavors people enjoy here. Also mixing cocktails that are suitable for the weather as well. You know, it's a lot hotter here, so definitely the cocktails I tend to make are a lot lighter, fresher, using lots of the seasonal fruit that is readily abundant here.
Tell us some of the first cocktails that you were inspired or used Vietnamese spices and herbs in it.
One of the first cocktails I was really excited to play around with ended up using lychees. You know, it's one of my favorite fruit. It's really hard to get hold of and very expensive back in England or America. So when I arrived, it was lychee season. They're really cheap. You know, you see the ladies selling them on the backs of their bikes, walking around the streets. So I made a cocktail with lychees and with green tea, because just north of here you have Thai Nguyen. It has some really nice green tea, and I find those flavors work really well together with a little bit of gin as well to balance out the sweetness from the lychee.
So now that you have a small and cozy restaurant bar of your own, and you can freely experiment with different kind of ingredients, what were some of the craziest combinations of cocktails that you've made?
Avocado, yeah. Mainly they have it here in smoothies, but it has a really nice oily, creamy texture. It works well in cocktails. Avocado oil floated on top of cocktails also works well. And I've definitely played around with different herbs and avocados, some of which have worked, you know, some of which haven't worked.
Leo also learns about new ingredients from his Vietnamese staff. Together, they share experience with each other. Now, let's learn how to make one of Leo's signature cocktail that uses sugarcane juice and bantan leaves.
So what are we making today?
Okay, today we're going to be making one of our house cocktails. It's one of our favorites here. It's called Fidel and Che. So we have pandan leaf there, la nep. I've also got some fresh pineapple. We're going to be using a little bit of the molasses, which we make out of a reduction of the nuoc mia, which we're also going to be using, and a little bit of lime juice and some Cuban rum. So the first thing is we want to get some of the flavor of this beautiful pandan leaf into the cocktail. So what I've done is I've chopped some up into little pieces here, and we're going to sprinkle just a couple of pinches in our cocktail. There's a couple of different ways you can incorporate this flavor into your cocktail. You can cut it fresh. You can put a couple of leaves in your bottle of alcohol for a couple of days. Okay, then we're going to use a couple of half spoons of pineapple. And this pineapple's so ripe and soft that we don't actually need to even muddle it. That's perfect, yeah. Then we're going to use a little bit of the nuoc mia. Perfect, just like that. Lovely, there you go.
Thank you. So where did you get the inspiration for this cocktail?
You know, I really wanted to make a drink with the sugarcane juice. It's one of my favorite drinks to have out living here in Vietnam. I also really like the grassy flavors of pandan leaf. And for hot summer days, I think rum is probably the best liquor to use. And all these flavors work really well. They're all quite fresh, grassy,
How about sugarcane juice? Where did you first learn?
Sugarcane, it was in Vietnam, definitely, yeah. Yeah, you can see it on almost every street corner here in the old quarter. And, you know, it's cheap, fresh, and nice and sugary, but not too sweet, but gives you a little bit of energy in the afternoon. Okay, next we're going to add a little bit of lime juice just to make it a little sour. Lovely. Okay, next we're going to add this ingredient here. This is Angostura bitters, so you only need a couple of drops in there. Next we're going to use an aged rum. We're going to add 1.5 ounces.
Put it in.
Yep. Beautiful, perfect. Okay, now all of the ingredients are in, so we're going to shake our cocktail.
Yep.
We're going to strain it and pour it over lots of ice. Cheers.
Cheers. So I can barely taste the sweet from the sugarcane.
Yeah, all the flavors kind of come together really nicely. It blends really well with the rum, the pineapple, and the pandan leaf. So all the flavors kind of come together.
Yeah, thank you very much for teaching me how to make this
Yeah, anytime.
wonderful drink. And
Perfect.
I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Cheers, thank you.
Now we have had different types of coffee as well as cocktails. It's time to go into the wines. When it comes to wine, most of us think of wine that is made from grapes. But in Cheongdo district in North Gyeongsang province of South Korea, there's a special kind of wine made from persimmons, a popular fruit grown in Cheongdo for hundreds of years. Now recently, the introduction of Cheongdo persimmon wine has attracted a lot of attention. In this week's edition of Connecting Culture, our VTV reporter Hai Nam will take you to Cheongdo to hear the stories behind this unique type of wine.
Since being introduced in 2003, Cheongdo persimmon wine has received global attention. It was the official beverage at the 2005 APEC Summit in Busan and has appeared at the inauguration ceremonies of South Korean presidents as well as in major events both in and beyond South Korea. Persimmons have been grown in Cheongdo for hundreds of years. They have more vitamin A and C than many other fruits and 6 times as much vitamin C as apples. In Korea, persimmons are valued for their health benefits. They improve the skin and treat bronchitis, diabetes, high blood pressure, and colds. Persimmon wine is believed to also possess these benefits. The Cheongdo Wine Tunnel, where the world's first persimmon wine was aged. It is hard to believe that this place was a deserted rail tunnel 11 years ago. When the tunnel was found hidden in the trees, it was a pitch-dark home of beds flooded with knee-high water.
As soon as I enter this tunnel, I can feel that it is much cooler than outside. The average temperature here is 15 to 16 degrees Celsius all year round, and that is why the tunnel is an ideal place for the wine to age.
Along with such temperatures, the 60 to 70% humidity and low light inside the 1,000-meter tunnel are necessary for the wine to age over a 5-year period. What's interesting is that these conditions are totally natural. During the production process, aging or maturing the wine is the most important step to determine its quality.
Besides perfect conditions for aging wine, we also wanted a location that could enhance the image of our company, promote the region and contribute to the development of the community. So we decided to open this tunnel for tourists. We offer many cultural activities, including wine tasting.
Today, the wine tunnel is a popular tourist attraction in South Korea. Each year, an average of 1 million people come here to explore persimmon winemaking and enjoy this special drink in a romantic atmosphere.
처음에 좀 톡 쏘는 맛이 좀 다른 와인들이랑은 좀 달라서 적응이 안 됐었는데 근데 먹다 보니까 맛있어서 한 잔 다 마시게 됐네요.
제가 원래 포도로 된 와인은 잘 못 먹는데 이거는 먹어보니까 생각보다 달고 맛있어요.
지금까지 마셨던 포도 와인에 비해서 맛도 있고요. 굉장히 신선하고 산뜻합니다.
The tunnel has made a name for itself as a cultural and artistic venue that combines wine and art and offers hands-on activities related to wine.
So this is the first time I have the chance to bottle a bottle of wine for myself. And moreover, I can also label it with a photo of my own.
For years, Cheongdo farmers have always been proud of their specialty fruit, as is dubbed one of the most delicious and nutritious persimmons in the world. Producing persimmon wine can be seen as an advance which has bolstered the reputation of Cheongdo persimmons.
And that has also wrapped up our edition of Culture Mosaic for this week, exploring a diverse variety of drinks and beverages. If you would like to provide any feedback or comment on anything you've seen here on our show, please feel free to write to us at vtvinternational@vtv.vn. You can also log on to our website at vtv4.vn or our YouTube channel at vtv4go for more of our program. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. Cheers for now.